Mechanics of Reddit. What's the dumbest thing you've seen someone do to their vehicle? Had a customer once who had their oil light come on and couldn't figure out how to top the oil up. He thought it might have worked like his boat motor, so he poured a jug of oil in his fuel tank. The list is long. Removing PCV hose, assorted vacuum lines, O2 sensor, etc., thinking they are going to get better performance. Cutting a wire under the dash to hook up a stereo. Then bringing the car to me to fix the tail lights. Pouring 3 quarts of oil in, but the dipstick still shows low because they put the oil in the radiator. Putting gasoline in a diesel truck. Again. Did a co-op at a shop back in high school. Guy complains about how his car doesn't sit straight. We pull it in and don't even need to put it on the lift to realize that he has 17-inch rims on one side and 15s on the other. Took me about 45 minutes of explaining to him why cars aren't made like that before he told us that he'd be taking his business elsewhere. On a side note, the side with the 15s were 100% bald, like racing slick bald, and everything in that car was falling to pieces. I have too many stories of shit I found in people's cars there, but this one has to be my favorite. Let me tell you about Diamond Plate Guy and Focus Bro. Diamond Plate Guy had 2 things he used to modify his truck: a drill and a ton of diamond plate. It was an absolute base model V6 Ram 1500 with the exhaust chopped off, which I thought was bad enough until I opened the hood. He had drilled or glued diamond plate to every flat surface: air filter box, intake manifold, fan shroud, etc. This was 18 months ago. My eyes still haven't recovered, but this isn't the end. He had some crappy wheels that he had painted white himself. I know this because he painted the inside of the wheel where it seats to the hub, which caused them to seize to said hubs. I literally had to buy a bigger hammer to smack them off. Focus Bro. Guy had a custom straight pipe, full Sparko race seats, 5-point racing harnesses, lowering springs, and a base model, automatic Ford Focus SE. Worked as a car cleaner at a dealership one summer in high school. Guy towed in a relatively new, top-of-the-line Corvette he had bought there sometime before I started. He was pissed that it had died on the road and been running like shit before that. Ranting and raving about he spent all this money and it only went X months/years before completely breaking down. One of my work buddies got it up on a lift and started looking it over. He opens the oil drain plug and nothing comes out. He pulls apart the engine and the oil could now be best described as glue. Owner talks to the guy and asks when the last time he changed the oil was. Guy had zero idea what he was talking about. He had no idea that you had to do that. He assumed you just added gas and that's the only thing you needed to do. The engine was a complete loss, which meant the car was a complete loss to him. Edit, clarification. Dudes spending thousands of dollars modifying their pickups for off-roading, even though they spend 99% of the time on highways, and the furthest off of a road they ever get is a logging road that a stock Forester could tackle with no problems. And then complain about extra shitty fuel mileage, and having to pay for new 35-inch knobby tires that only last 10k miles because they wear out super quickly if you drive mostly on pavement, and having to replace their front wheel bearings every other year because those larger wheels and tires are a lot heavier than the stock ones, and being super surprised to learn that parts for a 3/4 ton pickup can cost multiple times more than the comparable ones for the small sedan they sold to afford their bro truck. This probably won't be the worst one in this thread. I used to know a 30-year-old who would put the car air freshener duct taped outside the exhaust, kind of just dangling in front of the opening. His logic was it makes the exhaust smell better for pedestrians. Bad snow day. For whatever fuck reason we were open. Guy pulls up needing a flat repair. He pulled up in a way the car could be just pulled in. Co-worker goes to pull it in and can't stop. Slams into his box. Wasn't going fast enough to damage anything. Car had 0 brakes. Say something to the customer, oh the foot brake. That hasn't worked in years. You have to use the hand brake. We inspect the vehicle and discover it doesn't even have brake calipers in the front. With the hoses clamped off and not an ounce of brake fluid in the master cylinder. And the most surprising part, they didn't want to get the brake repairs done. Edit, typos. Holy shit, gold. Thank you, kind stranger. Not a mechanic, but we do almost all of our farm equipment maintenance. Brother called during a hellacious snowstorm telling me hurry, get over here and bring beer. I arrive with Bud Light in hand. He's got 2 lawn chairs under his carport. We get a beer and settled in our chairs out of the snow. We commence to watching his methed out neighbors that are higher than kites push this Mustang. They're trying to push start it. After about 10 minutes we're hysterical. They had been trying for almost 2 hours. It was an automatic transmission. The previous mechanic didn't know how to patch an exhaust leak, and had tried to weld a rock can around the leak. The leak caused the second oxygen bank to fail, which is why they tried to patch it with the can. Not a week later the bank read a failure again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.